It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 21st day of June 2021. And folks, I hope we go through today's show without the technical issues I had yesterday. Again, I apologize to everybody for yesterday. I had Wi-Fi problems, I had technical problems, and we had a bunch of people from Australia that had tuned in to watch K-How, and some of my friends from Roanoke that are relatives of hers. It was just a disaster. So hopefully we'll do better today. Today, of course, is the 21st day of June. And by the way, the top story today deals with Disney Wish arriving in this country. We'll get to that in a little while. Today is National Smoothie Day, folks. So go out to your little smoothie filling station and get a smoothie or some flavor or another. Do have a little bit of action in ships sailing from North American ports today. Down in West Palm Beach, Margaritaville of the Sea Paradise sails. Up in Seattle, Carnival Splendor and the Norwegian Sun sail. Vancouver, the Seabourn Odyssey sails. In Anchorage, we've got land packages starting for Radiance of the Seas, Koningsdam, and Majestic Princess. In Fairbanks, land packages for Radiance of the Seas, Majestic Princess, Nieuw Amsterdam, Norwegian Bliss, and Norwegian Encore. All land packages starting out of Fairbanks. In addition to the Disney Wish arriving at her new home port, a couple other stories today. Milestones for 2 new MSC ships, and the job fair in in Barbados, which we're going to talk about today. If you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or any of the places you always get your podcasts from, all the big guys: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, TuneIn, all of them. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and the old fat travel guy is going to pop up. So, and anytime when we have something special like we're going to have this morning, sometimes if you're watching or listening to the podcast, you might want to hop over to the video feed. There's always a link down in the description of the podcast, which will take you to the video feed, and you can jump over to see a special guest or pictures and clips that I might share from my cruises or cruises of any of our normal guests and friends of the show. Now, back over the last how many weeks? Several weeks now, we've been following one of the Chillie Cruises family who flew from Tampa over to Portugal, Lisbon. We got on an Azamara ship to celebrate her 50th birthday. We followed her through a lovely cruise and a number of ports of call and a number of wine tastings and a whole bunch of things. She's been on this show several times before, and one of our lovely all-time favorite people. We last left her in Stockholm, Sweden, at the Radiance Hotel. She was feeling a little bit under the weather, but had tested negative on a COVID test. That was a couple days ago, and a few things have happened. So with no further ado, my special guest today is one of Chillie Cruises' favorites, Bethany Bartley from Stockholm, Sweden. Bethany, welcome back to Chillie Chats.
Good afternoon. I'll say good afternoon because it's 5 o'clock here. So good morning to you. Yes.
All right. So you were feeling a little puny. You tested negative. bring us up to date on what's happened since you arrived in Stockholm several days ago.
Yeah, so yes, I wasn't feeling great for a couple days. Took the first test, it was negative, and then I think it was Saturday, was still feeling really, really bad. So I took another test, and that one did come back as positive. So, and it was very decidedly positive. I did one of those. It's the at-home test that gets proctored, so you do it, with the doctor on the line, and yeah, within about 30 seconds of sticking the stick in, the second line appeared. So there was no doubt about it.
So then you had to leave Hotel Ryzen, which was a 50th anniversary cruise.
Oh.
Whoops! There went the camera.
Sorry about that.
You had to leave the hotel. I don't know if it was because you had to quarantine or because it was just too expensive to stay in. And so you're now in different digs and you are quarantined. Is that correct?
But that was going to be a lot of out-of-pocket expense to pay for that for several more nights. It was honestly a stretch to pay for it the 2 nights I was there. So I made the decision to find a more economical solution to spend a few more nights here in Stockholm.
Okay. And so basically, that has become whether it's called that over there or not, your quarantine location.
Yeah, so yeah, I've moved to a hotel that's exactly, it's inside the airport here, the Arlanda airport here in Stockholm. I've been here under wraps since I got here Sunday. One of the reasons why I ended up here, it was one of the few places that did have room service available so that I could choose to stay in the room. So I'm staying in the room. I'm not having any of the service, the housekeeping is not coming. I'm just having them drop the food off at the door, and I pick it up when they leave. So, yeah, I'm getting very familiar with this small room. But the fortunate thing is, because it is at the airport. Oops, sorry about that, Chillie.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
It is at the airport, so I had a choice of an airport view or a runway view room. So I've chosen a runway view room, so I at least can see the planes taking off and arriving all day. So that's been a bit of entertainment for me.
And now you created a COVID recovery kit, which I find understandable.
Yes, luckily the rooms here, particularly here in Europe, there's always an electric kettle available and a lovely selection of tea. So I've been having a lot of tea. I was also fortunate to find a pharmacy here, so I was able to stock up on the cough drops that you see there. I was able to get some. It's essentially Theraflu. The syrup for the throat. I was able to find a medicine to take for the sinuses. So I've got my medications that I've been taking. So yeah, I'm fully stocked and ready to go.
Now, you have to, before they'll let you get on a plane to come home, you've got to test negative, right?
No.
No?
No. Now that they've dropped the requirement for testing on planes.
So yeah. You can fly tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's at your choice.
That is my choice. Yeah. So I've been consulting. I checked several websites. I'm defaulting to the CDC website because to me that seems to be the safest bet with information. And that one there is saying that you basically give yourself 5 days. And after that 5th day, that's when you can end isolation, and then you're supposed to be masking for the next 5 days. So yes, I will definitely be masking, probably double masking. Actually, I have a decent supply of masks here, so okay. I'll be choosing to mask on the way home.
All right, so you are going to actually go get on a plane and head back to Tampa tomorrow.
Yes, unless something strange happens at check-in tomorrow. I'm not sure. I am flying through Paris as the first stop. according to everything I'm seeing online, there's no testing involved for that either. So my flight's at like 7:20 tomorrow morning, so I'll be checking in bright and early. So
Good.
we'll see what happens.
All right, one interesting thing, and then I do have to ask you one cruise question, but
Yep.
one interesting thing for the viewers. Bethany and I have become sports pals over the couple years that we've been friends. And so she's a big time Tampa Bay sports person, among other things. But the hockey team has been playing a few games, and she missed the first two games, which thankfully she didn't see them because Colorado spanked them. But they were back home in Tampa Bay last night, which you probably would have been there had this not happened, come to think about it.
I may have, yes.
So a couple hours ago, you're skating through the channels, and there in Sweden is the game from last night.
Yes, indeed. I was beyond thrilled. It was the highlight of my week so far. I was just channel surfing, just trying to find anything that was halfway decent to watch. And I saw a hockey game. I said, oh, okay, I'll watch hockey. And then I looked closer and I said, oh, that's the hockey game. That's the Tampa Bay game. So I stopped. Commentators were in Swedish, obviously. But I just watched the game. Just was fun to listen to them. They got very excited when good things happened. Obviously, there's a couple of Swedish players on each team, so anytime either one of those guys did something good, they were really, really excited. But yeah, it was a fun experience to get to watch the hockey game over here today.
And then when I saw that this morning, I didn't want to. I saw the game 5 or 6 hours before you did. I didn't want to tell you what happened in the end, but
well, I forgot that they had played last, because normally I've been checking online the next morning to see what the score is, because of course the games are on at 2 a.m. local time here, which I'm not staying up for even if they were on. But I completely forgot that they had played last night, so I'm glad I didn't check the score ahead of time to spoil the fun.
All right, we certainly enjoyed your 50th celebration cruise. I have never been on Azamara.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fascinated by the ship, the service, the food, everything. Without overstressing your vocal cords and start coughing on me, just give us, what did you think of the Azamara Pursuit?
I fell in love with the ship. So as you know, I typically do river cruises. I've only done river cruises. So this was my first big girl cruise, I like to call it. And it was a smaller ship. I believe the total passenger count is right at about 700. I may be up or down on that number a little bit. So it's obviously not a huge ship, but this was my first non-river cruise experience, and I had no idea what to expect. And I was delighted to find that it was very, very similar to my river cruise experience. It was a relatively intimate setting. Within a couple days, I was recognizing faces of fellow passengers. It was relatively easy to meet new people. Obviously, as a solo traveler, you're never quite sure what to expect, but met a lot of great people. The majority of the passengers on board are English speaking. There's a lot of folks from the United States and from the UK. Because this cruise ended in Scandinavia, there was also a very heavy Swedish and Norway and Denmark population on board as well. So it was just fun to get to talk to different folks. But the service was absolutely phenomenal. I think they've got there's a crew of about 400 for the 700 passengers. So plenty of attentive service. I made quick friends with the assistant cruise director. He was fantastic to hang out with. The food was absolutely phenomenal. I ended up there. There's the main dining room, which I only went to once for lunch. There was another dining room, which was just one deck above mine, so it was just more convenient for me. I ended up eating there most meals. Absolutely fabulous. They have a country theme night every night for dinner. So one night it was Mediterranean. There was an Indian night. So it was really, really good.
That's just awesome. That's come well up my bucket list now of things that I got to do.
Yep.
So, well, Bethany, just we loved following you for the couple of weeks that you were over there. Of course, I'm going in your Facebook page and stealing pictures every day and creating my own narrative to go with them. So, but anyway, we enjoyed that. Stay safe and just hopefully you can get on that plane and go to sleep and sleep all the way back to Tampa, which would probably be helpful.
Yep.
So,
Yep. I'll definitely keep you posted. Like I said, I'm feeling much better today. Symptoms are basically, I'm still a little stuffy, as you can hear, but cough is basically gone, and I'm definitely feeling 100 times better. So yeah, I appreciate the support and the thoughts.
okay. Well, thank you for taking some time to be with me and for letting me come in your quarantine room and ask you some questions about the dreaded COVID. So any of us that travel have to, it can happen to any of us at any
Yeah.
time.
Absolutely. So, all right.
All right.
Thanks,
Safe
Jill.
travels. We'll see you when you get back home.
All right. And go Bolts.
Okay. That's Bethany Bartley, of course, our lovely friend from Tampa Bay who's been in COVID quarantine hell in Stockholm for 4 or 5 days. Said she was getting a little bored in that room. So, and I can only imagine that. One other thing to get to before I get to the news for the day, and that's from Gretchen and Fred. You know, they've been over in Europe too. Well, apparently Fred has a secret business over there that Gretchen didn't know about. So this is Fred standing in front of his business, or else Gretchen and Fred have been hiding from us that they had a sideline business. Maybe that's what it was. I like the story that Fred has a business that Gretchen didn't know about. That's what I'm sticking with today, whether you like it or not. I'll be back with today's news stories after a word from one of our network sponsors. All right, back with today's news. And by the way, I am going to have a special guest tomorrow as well. My guest tomorrow is going to be Sue Shearer. She is from Buffalo, New York. The topic is going to be casino loyalty programs. Sue and her husband Barry were my table mates on Quantum of the Seas in Alaska. And they have made a science out of getting free cruises on loyalty programs from a number of cruise lines. So we're going to talk about casino loyalty programs tomorrow. All right. Today's lead story has to do with the Disney long-awaited arrival, highly anticipated arrival of the Disney Wish in her new home port of Port Canaveral. She actually got in shortly before sunrise yesterday, escorted by a flotilla of port-based tugboats, Port Canaveral Fire and Rescue Fireboat 2 providing the traditional water cannon salute. Have you guys ever been on a ship that went through one of those salutes? It's pretty cool. I did it once in New York. So that's kind of a neat thing to be on. Anyway, the ship sailed from Bremerhaven, Germany on June the 9th and is now at Port Canaveral. Disney Wish was welcomed by a number of fans lined up at Jetty Park, a popular area for viewing ships sailing into Port Canaveral. The vessel will be preparing for her first voyage, which will set sail on June the 29th. As the first of 3 Trident-class ships, Disney Wish has 4,000 passenger capacity, like Dream and Fantasy, but at 144,000 gross tons is larger than earlier Disney Cruise Line ships. The last 2 ships of the Trident class have yet to be named, They're scheduled in 2024 and 2025. Disney Wish will initially operate year-round from Port Canaveral, taking over the shorter sailings that Disney Dream handled. The Dream left Port Canaveral for Miami earlier this month, so Wish could take her place. As with all Disney ships, one of the key features is the stern figurine, and on the Disney Wish, it's Rapunzel from Tangled. The cruise line has also chosen to bring the fun of the Disney theme parks on board with its first-of-a-kind water coaster called Aqua Mouse. The future fan favorite could be seen this morning as Wish made her way into port. On the inside, there are new Frozen and Marvel-themed restaurants, a Star Wars hyperspace lounge, and a Walt Disney Imagineering lab. Disney has also thought of the adults on board. This is new. Who need some peace and quiet away from the kids. There's an adults-only zone with bars, restaurants, a spa, an open deck, and swimming pools, which are only available to the young at heart, but that are over 18 years of age. And of course, the reason that this ship is in Port Canaveral, that's the only place that can handle LNG right now. So you got to be able to fuel that puppy up. All right. Congratulations to Disney. I've never done a Disney cruise. With an adults-only area, maybe sometime. I mean, I think they tend to be expensive for me, but I mean, it'd be worth looking at. I know several of my friends love to go on Disney cruises. So. All right, MSC got a little bit of a news item today. Two of the vessels that they have under construction have reached significant milestones. Both will be LNG-powered vessels under construction at Chantiers de l'Atlantique shipyard in Saint-Nazaire, France. The MSC World Europa has successfully completed her initial set of sea trials. Tests were conducted in look at all the performance of the engines, including maneuverability, fuel consumption, safety system, speeds, and stopping distances. The new propulsion system, it's now fully certified and ready for service. And just as her fleet mate is one significantly step closer to officially joining the fleet, MSC Eurybia has set a major construction milestone with her float out. That step is taken when water touches the ship's hull for the first time, moving a vessel from dry dock to wet dock for further construction work. And the final news story today, it was a little on a light news day for a change, has to deal with Royal Caribbean and their struggles with staffing. Of course, they're not the only ones with the struggles. We've had a couple stories in the past about Royal Caribbean and doing some of these town meetings and job fairs at various locations. Way back in April, we talked about an agreement reached with Barbados for a fair in Barbados. Well, that was this week. The turnout was so good that they had to expand it to 3 days, which was more than they had counted on. Barbados Tourist Marketing, in partnership with Royal Caribbean Group, hosted a 3-day recruitment drive in Barbados. The job fair was organized as part of the Memorandum of Understanding signed by both sides in April at the Sea Trade Cruise Global in Miami. Its purpose was to create opportunities for highly qualified employment in the local tourism industry of Barbados. With positions spanning any number of disciplines. The Royal Caribbean Group will employ several ships returning home to the Caribbean during the winter cruise season. The event was held at Sir Garfield Sobers Sports Complex. At the end of it, 500 people had shown interest and registered for jobs with Royal Caribbean. Maybe that'll help some with their shortages. That would be nice. All right, let's pop over to the chat room and see who's here today. At least we've made it through without any technical difficulties so far. I better keep my mouth shut. Something will happen here in the next few minutes. Kenneth's with us up in Pennsylvania. Lizzie Lou's with us. Lizzie. Mike's here. Mike. Sorry, I'm going to choking here this morning. Nikki's with us down in Jacksonville. Hot Air Tom's with us. He's tomorrow you go to Boston. What's today? Today's Tuesday. Yeah. Tomorrow, Hot Air Tom is going to be on his way to clam chowder and lobster rolls. At least that's what I'd do if I was going to Boston. Last day at the office. Busy, busy, busy. Nikki wants to know if you're packed and ready to go, Hot Air. Lizzie says, today I booked the cruise, leaving on Saturday. Never booked a cruise this last minute. Saw a good deal. My son finished his exams on Thursday, so taking the opportunity to spend time with him. Sweet. Sorry about that. Okay, man, I'm joking this morning. I got a couple of friends working on board, so excited here. Disney may be cruising down under at some stage. Yeah, that would be lovely for you guys down there. Wow. Okay, now starting to breathe again. Hot Air says, packed but have to finish as much work to reduce paperwork. Dragged with me, take Penny to the resort boarding and stop on the way for food. Her bin is almost empty. Yeah, you got to make sure the dog has food while you're gone. Just checked in for the JetBlue flight. I used a free government test this morning, negative. Do they accept that? The cruise line accept that? Hot Air? I was under the impression that they didn't accept the free government test, that you had to do one of these puppies. I have my new supply. And yes, folks, I'm not advertising for Abbott, but my supply did come in because I was out. And of course, I always take one. I'll take two with me, one and an extra one just in case. Cindy's here. Hi, Cindy. Bonnie popped in. Happy birthday, belated birthday to Bethany. And Lizzie says, happy birthday. Get well soon. Lizzie's asking Tom where he's off to. NCL Pearl to Bermuda. Back-to-backs. Hot Air Tom and Cindy are going to do. The other Cindy. And everybody's saying for Hot Air to enjoy. Bonnie says, safe travels. Hope you and Cindy enjoy. And be careful too. Yeah, I hate to say this, folks. As comfortable as I've been on cruise ships, now's the time to be I think the time to be extra careful. Yeah, I'm going to on my next two coming up. Emily's with us. Emily's up. She's causing trouble up in New York. She usually does. Way to go, Hot Air Tom. All set to go. Chillie, did I see NCL Prima left the construction yard Saturday and did a short initial sea trial? And no, I did not see that. Wow, very good for Prima. I do know that her schedule's been altered. But yeah, no, I did not know that. Wait a minute, I just skipped down here. Bonnie said she would try a short Disney cruise in the adults-only area. Yeah, that becomes interesting. I mean, I have nothing against Disney cruises. I just have always been leery of being around all that many kids because and maybe I'm picturing it wrong, but I picture a cruise ship full of kids. And I don't have anything against kids. I love kids, except I go on a cruise. I want to do more than be around all kids. Bonnie asked, did Hot Air see his a Facebook pic today from the Seaview cruise in 1996, NCL Seaview? I did not see that. I got to go back and look for that one, Bonnie. Bonnie's mother almost had a heart attack when he showed them. Oh my goodness. Was this a risque picture now? You got my curiosity up, Bonnie. I had to go back and find that sucker. Emily wants to know how I'm feeling. I feel fine. This is my joking here. That has nothing to do with how I feel. I have not felt bad at all other than the emotional bad of knowing that the cancer's back. Has not affected me in the least. I have felt fine. I talked to the oncologist again yesterday when we came up with this ridiculous business of an $11,000 damn prescription. Excuse my French, folks, but I'll call it that. That's ridiculous that I have to take monthly. So my first steps after I got over the emotional thing of, cancer's back. Here's what we got to do about it. So they want me to take this $11,000 business. I got it down to a copay of $2,300. That's after Medicare and my supplemental insurance. That's $2,300 a month copay. So I said, wow, that's going to kill my cruising budget for sure. Well, I did get financial assistance from the manufacturer, so I think it's all being covered now. I don't know that factually. There might still be part of it that I have to pay for, but I've been approved through December. So from now until December at least, I'm covered until we see how this goes. So the oncologist yesterday, I said, okay, do you want me to start taking this now? Since I've gotten it it was here, it came yesterday. I have the prescription in hand now, the first month's supply. So the oncologist said no, because they got all these testing protocols that I've got to be set up for to check for everything. So she said, go on the cruise. I'd rather you go and come back. We'll start after you get back. I'll start taking the pills and the prednisone. And then the first round of testing will be on the 13th. So I'm good to go for this next cruise coming up. Next two, actually. The JJ Cruises group cruise out of Miami. I'm driving down. hope maybe to, well, hope maybe to have lunch with in Jacksonville with Nikki on the way down, if all goes well. So anyway, that's going to happen. In the meantime, my son and Julie and her kids will be here today. My grandkids are not with Jason on this trip, but I had dinner with Jason, Julie, and her kids on Sunday in Rona and Salem, and love her kids. That's great. So they're coming in tomorrow. We'll be here tomorrow and Thursday, and then maybe after the show Friday, I will take off and drive a little Friday and most of the day Saturday, and then have lunch on Sunday and drive into Miami and sail on Monday. Current plans. All right, let's see who else is fussing at me. Katie's here. Hi, Katie. Waiting on test results. Hot Air says, I went next door to the neighbors to let them know we were going to be away. She asked about cruising, said her daughter-in-law booked a cruise next September on Prima. Nice. Good for them. Katie says she hopes to start her next trip north. Well, Katie, yeah, it's very, very possible that you could be cleared now. So I hope that works and you can head for Martha's Vineyard. Nikki says, if test is negative, when would you leave? Take an antigen, tested positive because it may stay in my system for a while. Oh, she's going to take an antigen test. All right. Hot Air did answer me back. He said that test that he accepted is not accepted that he did. It's also too early, but wanted a peace of mind test before we depart. I understand that part now. Okay. I see why you did it, Hot Air. My bad for asking. Bonnie says to enjoy your family time. Yeah, I'm going to. That's it's going to be a busy week for me because I've still got to pack and all that kind of business. I've got to go pick up my prednisone today, so everything will be here when I get home to start all this stuff up. I've got all the instructions, directions, paperwork to fill out and send in. But yeah, that's what's up ahead for me. In the meantime, I'm looking forward to getting to physically meet JJ Crew and some of their famous folks from their channel, and sailing with them. And I'm going to do hopefully do a little bit of work with their solo travelers that are on those two cruises. So looking forward to that. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same channel, with a special guest, Sue Shearer from Buffalo. And we're going to talk about casino loyalty programs tomorrow. So for now, you guys, as always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising. And hopefully one day soon we'll all meet on the high seas. Again, special thanks to Bethany for being with me today. I'll see everybody tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This is the old fat travel guy. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.